Good morning, everyone. Heather Cooper with Playing with Paper Crafting. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Canada. And this morning I am going to be demonstrating how the new Arctic Bears, let me see if I can tip that so we get the glare out of there, the Arctic Bears stamp set and the Polar Bear die set, which is a bundle, can coordinate with the new Peaceful Place Designer Series paper. This is just a sample of it. But these are products that will be available in the new July to December mini catalog that will be available to you in August, which doesn't sound like it's fair because it says July to December, but the reason that it has been delayed is because of COVID. The shipping became a problem and there were going to be several shipping delays for products, and they wouldn't be available and probably would have gone into back order right away. So this is the card we're doing today, featuring a big polar bear on a nice floe in the Arctic Ocean with I don't know if it's an iceberg or a just a landmass behind, a few icicles, and a comment or a sentiment. So we will get started with that pretty much right away. I'm not going to wait. People will come on as they come on. Okay, so we will start with the basic black piece of cardstock as a regular card base, so 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4 inches, and we will fold that on the score line, match up the corner edges, and use our bone folder just to burnish that fold, make it extra sharp. Then we're going to take a piece of this design of the Peaceful Place Specialty Designer Series paper, and it is a specialty paper because it has the gold foil, silver foil accents in it. So the whole set of paper designs is in basic black, basic gray, probably some smoky slate in there, and silver. Oh, and white. I have to remember that. So we will start by gluing that down. And I think I will just use my Stampin' Seal today for that. Go, and we'll line that up, and I like to get 3 sides equal. This piece of Designer Series paper is cut at 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches, which second layers often are on a card. And that's ready to go. Now we're going to proceed with getting all of the other pieces ready to add to our card. So I've got a half a sheet of basic white cardstock, and I'm going to start by doing some stamping. So this is that either, I guess, ice floe or ice cliff or maybe it's just land covered with ice. Who's to say? So I know the Arctic is a land mass and an ocean, whereas the Antarctic is just ocean. Okay, so we can see this is the horizon line along here. I tip it so you can see it without a glare. So we want that to be straight. And I don't want a lot of extra room on the side there, so I'll stamp it like that. Okay, it's not too bad. Let's get that cleaned off. And then we're going to go for the bear. And then all the rest of the pieces are just die cuts, which we will use the polar bear dies to create. Okay, so we'll put our polar bear right here. And he is majestic, or she. Can't really tell. They're both just as impressive. And then I think I'll just put because I may cut that off, I think I'll just put our little sentiment at the side here. I need to make sure that I leave enough room for my die. So I don't want it right at the edge. So I'll put it up a little bit, thinking of you. And that sentiment is also from the same Arctic Bears stamp set. Okay, now I'm going to show you how I'm going to set all this up on my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, which I just love, by the way. So this is my old magnetic platform from my old Big Shot that I use just because I love that magnetic ability. And I'm going to take out, these are my Tasteful Label dies. Okay, so I'm going to open this up. So we'll take the bear out and we'll line him up. I'm going to move the paper around until the bear stays put with the magnets. Then these things don't matter. This is the die for the ripples in the water, and it doesn't matter where that goes. This is the ice flow. Again, that doesn't matter where it goes. And these are the icicles. And they don't have to be on an edge, they cut their own edge, so they don't even have to be straight. So that's on there, and then I used, where did I put it? This is from the Tasteful Label dies, and that can go right on there. Well, I hope you can even see that. I had it way over. Okay, so that can go right on there. So that you can see how these are cutting it. This one will have to be trimmed by hand. Okay, but we'll do these die cuts first and then we'll get to that. So, just going to put on the top cutting pad and send that through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And voila! Here's what we get. And I hand trimmed that out previously as I had all those trimmed and ready to go. Okay. just makes things a little faster. So now we have to set up our scenario here. So this part, still don't know what to call it, we're going to add just some adhesive to. So I'm going to use my Stamp and Seal for this. And just a little bit on the edge there. Just make sure I tuck that in. Okay, so I want it about here. So I hand trimmed all that with my scissors, okay, with my paper snips. Then we're going to glue down our water down about here. So we're going to use our glue for that. And the glue is running freely today. I'm not even squeezing this. It's coming out at its own volition here. Wish it would come out just a little less eagerly. Some of those blobs are a bit big, but I store it upside down, and with the heat, I guess it's raring to go. Okay. Okay, so now we'll locate this right about here. We want to make sure it's nice and straight, because it's kind of like water lines are kind of like horizon lines. They really need to be straight. Straight horizontal meaning horizontal. There we go. All right, now this is actually embossed, and I don't know if you can see that with the camera. Maybe if I hi, Carol. There, if I zoom in, you can see the embossed. So the die cuts and embosses for this. Okay, I'll just scroll out again. And we are going to use dimensionals to add this. I'll get my larger dimensionals. And there, and a couple along there. That's a little too close to the edge, I think. And then I think we're going to need mini dimensionals. Oh, here they are. For this part. We'll put a couple of mini dimensionals along here. Remember when we had to cut dimensionals to make them fit? Sometimes I have to cut the minis though. Okay. Oh, there's my garbage. Okay. So we're going to add that just over top of the water. Okay. And then we're going to add our bear on top of that. So we need, I'm going to put him or her back this way a little bit. So we're going to use glue dots for the bottom of the feet and then dimensionals for everywhere else. So let's put our dimensionals on first because they have the film on top that makes them not sticky until we get the glue dots added. Okay, and then we'll add the glue dots to the feet. Just gonna scroll out a little bit. Okay, so now we'll remove the backing from all our dimensionals and position our bear where we want him or her. Okay, good. Two more things to add. One is the icicles. So these, because of the way they are, have to be added this way, at this side of the card front. So again, we're going to use dimensionals, small and large. So we can put one dimensional here, one large one, and then we have to turn to minis. So we'll put a mini here and a mini here, and we can't fit anything in on the other end, but these should support that. We could start cutting the minis, but that would take up, I mean, you'd have to cut them so small. It would be very difficult. So we're going to just match up these edges here. There we go. So that's creating some three-dimensional looks there. And now the last thing that we have to do is to add our sentiment. And we are going to just use some Stamp and Seal for that. Okay, and that we will add right on this part of our card. So this, I chose this background paper because it looks to me kind of like a blizzard that you would get up north. And here's this lonely looking polar bear standing on a cold ice floe in the middle of a blizzard out in the Arctic Ocean. And he's thinking about you. And that is my card for this morning. I hope you enjoyed it. And I will see you again next Monday for my Monday morning live with Playing with Paper Crafting. Thanks for joining in. Appreciate that you make that effort on Mondays. Okay, bye-bye.